Welcome to a quarter of the way through the 21st century where 2 terabytes of storage is not enough for your game consoles or your computer. Storage is one of those things that you can never have enough of. When computers first came out, I don't really remember this, but people tell me these stories. Well, when they first came out, you needed giant rooms to hold just a few megabytes of data. I mean, you had to unload computers with a forklift, let alone now our computers in our pockets, our phones, all these small things. The advances are crazy, but also the storage need for games has just gone up and up and up. So now we install games on our consoles or computers that take almost 300 gigs of data. I mean, Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition takes 170 gigs. With Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Cross-Gen Bundle Ultimate Edition taking up a whopping 283.5 gigs. I mean, with a name like Cross-Gen Bundle Ultimate, I would expect large storage space, but that's crazy. The amount of storage we need for games just keeps going up. Now, we all hate running out of space and getting this lovely error that pops up. That's a PlayStation 5 error. And we need more storage to play the games we want to on our PS5, computers, Xbox, other consoles, Switch, whatever it is. So today we're going to go through how to install more storage in the M2 slot that Sony has left easily accessible for you to install a secondary drive. Well, it's not as easy as the Xbox Series X, but much easier than the previous gen consoles, except, well, you know, Microsoft, they're going to make their expansion drives proprietary, which is kind of annoying. This little thing, you cannot put that on anything else except for an Xbox One X. So I really like that PlayStation has made it easily accessible with their M2 drives. So let's jump on over to the console and show you how to add more storage. All right, as we jump in, I do want to remind you, I'm Josiah with NextTech Consultants. And while this video is more of a personal gaming device, so it's not really for businesses, but give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe this channel, and drop a comment, as it really does help us create more content like this for you guys. We're all about educating businesses or consumers and whatever they need to get the job done. You can also reach out to us on all social media platforms at NextTechNT. All right, so let's get into it. Drive requirements. This is something where it gets a little complicated. So I'm going to list a few things really quickly and have a link in the description if you have more questions. But really just know that if you want to buy a drive and support our channel, you can see the link below in the comments where this drive will show up. So this is the one we're going to use today to install. And just so you know, if you're looking for a drive to use with your PS5, you want to find a drive that's advertised to work with your PS5, because these requirements, no one's going to remember them, and you really don't want to have to check all of them. But here they are really quickly. It needs to be a PCIe Express Gen 4x4 supported M2 NVMe SSD key M. That's the first requirement. Then it has to be 350 to 8 gigs to 8 terabytes. The form factor is one of these 5 different numbers. It's 2230, 2242, 2260, 2280, or 221110. It does have to have the size, including the heatsink, meet these requirements, which is a width up to 25 millimeters, a length of 30, 40, 60, 80, or 110 millimeters, a thickness up to 11.25 millimeters, 5,500 megabits per second of read speed or faster. And also the socket, again, has to be key M3. So if you can remember all those requirements and find a drive, feel free, but just really, there's a one in the description below, and find something that's advertised for a PS5. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how to take the top of off the PS5. But before you do that, you need to make sure that you've powered off your PS5, not put it into rest mode. So I'm going to show you that really quick on the PlayStation. All right, on the PlayStation, we're going to go ahead and log in. And what you're going to do after you log in is you're just going to go up to this. You're going to click on the little PlayStation button on your controller. You're going to go down and over all the way over to the power. And you're going to turn off PS5. Do not enter rest mode. You should not unplug your PS5 when it's in rest mode. So go ahead and turn off your PS5. And then we're going to take all the cables off of the PS5. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. So first, you want to look back here in the back. and you're gonna see that we have all of our cables plugged in. So we wanna make sure once it's all powered off, you can double check by the light on the front of the console. It is off now. So we pull it up, we pull out power. That's shaking the camera, but we pull out HDMI and the Ethernet. And we just kind of set those off to the side. And as you can see, there's obviously two covers on the PS5. There's the top cover, which has the PlayStation logo on it. If you want to take that off, you push up right here and you pull to the left. So push up and then push the whole thing to the left and it pops off like that. This is not the side we want to take. So we're going to put it back on and we're going to flip it over. All right, now that we've flipped it over, this side right here and this right underneath is where the PlayStation logo is. So what you're going to do is you're going to push up right here and you're going to kind of push your whole lid that way. You push up and push your whole lid over and it comes off. It kind of slides off. You'll see that it was grabbing right here and holding in. So when you push it up, you release it and then you can slide it over. All right, now that your lid's taken off, there's a couple screws we want to remove. Now to remove these screws, we put on our Phillips 1 head. So that's the specific head that you need to take these screws out without damaging it. So we're going to go ahead and go right here. We're going to take off this screw first. We're going to go ahead and get it loose. Okay. So then we take it out. This is just the cover that protects the M2 SD. Make sure it doesn't fall into the fan like I almost did. We're going to go ahead and pick this up. And there is a little lip here. So you got to make sure you get under that, pull that out. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit with the camera. So the drive plugs in on this side over here. You'll notice there's a screw right here. We want to take this screw out. So we're going to take the screw out. And then there's a little spacer you can see right here on the end of the screw. We're going to set that to the side, keep it safe. And now we're going to open up our new drive. All right, as you can see here, this drive is specially marketed for the PlayStation. It does have a heatsink on it. That's why it's so thick. So it's ready to go, just plug and play. And that's why we recommend this specific drive for the PlayStation 5. All right, and as you can see here, this drive size is, if you kind of put it in, it is size 80. So remember that spacer we talked about. We're going to grab that again, and we're going to set that spacer inside right here on the 80. And what's really nice is if you get it in there, it actually does have a little protection. So now that it's in, you can't really move it back and forth. So now it's set, and we're going to take our drive and we're going to fit it in here, and we're going to kind of set it in nicely, and it kind of clicks in, and then it's in right there. We're going to take that screw and we're going to put it back on. All right, now that's nice and secure. You can see that will not move anywhere. It's not going to lift up, and that's in. So now we're going to put our PlayStation back together. So as we put the lid back on, we want to make sure that the disc opening matches with the disc. So we put it back on up here. We kind of get it to plop in to the right spot, and then we push down and it clicks in right there. All right, now that we have our PlayStation 5 back together, what we're going to do is we're going to plug everything back in, and we're going to go ahead and pull up the PlayStation so you can see how you format the drive. All right, let's go ahead and power our PlayStation back on. And you'll see the PlayStation turn on right there. And then it's going to pop up with this message. It's saying to use your M2 SSD, you'll need to format it. By the way, when you format an M2 SSD, it will always delete the information on that. So it's saying, hey, make sure that it's okay to delete this. And then we're going to go ahead and say format M2 SSD. It's going to default to don't because it doesn't want to accidentally erase data, but go ahead and say format. All right, it tells us the read speed, which if you remember back in the requirements, it had to be at least 5,500 megabytes per second. Ours is reading at 6,530. And so we can go ahead and click OK. It has been formatted. So where we can change games or installs, we're going to go ahead and show you that. So we're going to click OK here. After it rebuilds. Then we're going to log in. We're going to go up to settings, and we're going to go down to storage. And you can see here now we have an M2 SSD storage. So when you click it, it's going to take games and apps. You can then go here to games and apps, pick one, and say select items to move. Once you've chosen to move these items like Hulu or Disney or Apple TV, all the apps that I don't use that much, then you can go ahead, or a couple games, kind of get them off of there. You'll see that my console storage is now freeing up space. And so I can click some of these larger games as well, like, let's go Kingdom of Hearts is a little larger, and my console storage just went up. So once you're done, go ahead and click on move, and I'm gonna move all 52 gigs over there, and we're gonna click OK. All right, and now you can see on the PlayStation that the games are moved. That was much faster than updating Call of Duty. So that moved it over real quick. You could see, I know the video was sped up, but you can see the seconds go through. All right, now that's it, guys. It wasn't too hard. Just the tools you need, which is the Phillips head screwdriver size 1, and the link's in the description below, as well as an M2 SSD, and there's a link in the description below. So I do appreciate you guys watching this video. If this helped you install your M2 SSD, or if you ran into any problems, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you coming around. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us create more content like this so we can educate people out there on how to do things with their technology. So thanks again, guys. I had a lot of fun making this video for you, and I will see you next time.